This is my case study for EDL 850, Internet Use Violations. Problem identification, what we know about Ms. Walker is that she is a first-year teacher. She has her degree, master's, and a year of post-grad, which makes her a little bit older than most first-year teachers. She teaches a rigorous class, and her approach to instruction is causing the students stress. What we know about the students and the parents is that they are frustrated, they are stressed, they fear getting a low grade and not being valedictorian, and they have complained about the workload and the lack of instructions to Dr. Forbes. What we know about Dr. Forbes is that he has been at Roosevelt High School for 9 years. He was Principal of the Year. He is very respected by parents, and also he has discussed certain techniques to lower the stress level in Ms. Walker's class. What we know about the situation is that the email was sent to Ms. Walker, who wants Ms. Walker to disappear. This made her feel threatened, which Dr. Forbes just feels that it is a prank from one of her students. What we need to know which student or who wrote the email, why they wrote the email. Was it a threat? Was it a prank? How many families have stressed their concerns for Ms. Walker's class? Was it just one or two, or was it a majority of the class? How many families are unsatisfied or feel they have concerns about other classes and teachers at Roosevelt High School? Did Dr. Forbes suggest multiple things to reduce the stress level, and what did he suggest? How did he relay these concerns to Ms. Walker? Was it just a passing by conversation, or did he sit down and have a conference with her? How was Ms. Walker held accountable for these complaints about her instructions, and why does Ms. Walker think that Randy is making the snide comments? Are identifying the problem. We know that the students are feeling stressed and overwhelmed. We know Ms. Walker is teaching rigorous subjects, but her instructional delivery is just making it hard for the students to understand, and a student in her class wrote her a threatening email. Now she doesn't feel safe. So our first problem is that Ms. Walker's instructional delivery is causing the students and parents a lot of stress. And two, our problem is a student wrote an inappropriate and threatening email, making Ms. Walker feel safe in her own home. Plan of actions. The first step for Ms. Walker's instructional delivery would be to go in as an administrator and observe her teaching, how the students are reacting. Step two would be to set up a professional plan on how she can successfully get her instructions across. Then lastly, have her observe other teachers in the building with similar classes. For our student who wrote the email, first we need to find out who sent the email. Next, we need to have a conference with the student and Ms. Walker to resolve our problems. 3, have a conference with the parents. And lastly, we need to discipline the student. Strategies for our plan of action for Ms. Walker would be to set up a time to observe at least one full class period, taking notes on student behavior, the level of difficulty, and student success. We need to let Ms. Walker know the positive things being observed, as well as what we think she could improve on, and writing that up into a professional improvement plan for her. We also need to set up a time for her, maybe a couple times a semester, to observe some other teachers in the building that are also teaching rigorous classes. Then we need to set up time to meet with her to discuss how changes are going. Again, a couple times a semester to make sure that she is not feeling stressed and that she feels that her students are becoming more successful. Our plan of action strategies for the student would be find out who wrote the email, first starting off with interviews of students in the class, especially Randy, and if we can't figure it out that way, then we can always use the tech support. Let the student who wrote the email know how serious this was and how Miss Walker felt. She felt that she couldn't even stay in her own home that night. Then set up a meeting with the student and Miss Walker, letting both of their voices be heard to one another, disciplining the student with the appropriate consequences per district policies. Then if the problem continues throughout the semester, throughout the year, we need to remove that student from Miss Walker's class. What is best for our students? Helping Miss Walker become a better teacher will help the students be more successful. Yes, they need to be challenged, but they also need to be challenged in a way that they can be successful. Students and parents have set these high goals and they want to be valedictorian. We want to help them achieve that as best as we can without just obviously giving them those good grades. We want them to work for it. Dr. Forbes wants to maintain his reputation, but he also wants to make sure he is doing what is best for the students. Ms. Walker's serious approach and course rigor is creating a stressful environment. Numerous parents are complaining and she is not successfully implementing what Dr. Forbes is suggesting. So she is not currently doing what is best for the students, but if we put it into action, some of these strategies of getting her to observe some other teachers, implementing an improvement plan, going to observe her, and setting up meetings, we can do what is best for our students. Our resolution: Ms. Walker does have the intent of establishing a structured classroom focused on academics. She wants her students to succeed, but instead she has created a stressful environment. So we need to have her observe some other ways, some other teachers, and understand what these techniques that Dr. Forbes wants her to use, that he has already tried to implement to her. Students should feel that they can be successful while also being challenged to get valedictorian. Helping Ms. Walker understand by setting up a professional improvement plan will help her teaching, which will then help the students have success in the specialized science courses. What I was thinking during this case study was that Ms. Walker was doing her best to hold her students to a higher standard. She wants to challenge them, but she is just needing a little bit of help getting her instructions across to the students in a way that they can understand. Dr. Forbes should have helped Ms. Walker sooner. Maybe then the threatening email would not have been sent out. Lastly, these situations like this need to be and should be avoided at all costs. Students should feel that if they are that stressed, they should be able to go to the teacher, maybe if you have a counselor at the school, and definitely the administration if they feel that their stress level is getting this bad. What I was feeling was sad for Ms. Walker, that what she is going through, feeling like she's not a good teacher and getting threatened by a student. That's not good for a teacher's self-esteem or confidence, and so I feel sad for Ms. Walker. But I also feel sad for the students who are so frustrated that they felt like they needed to go to these levels. Also frustrated in the situation that it wasn't helped earlier and that it got to the point where a student felt that he or she needed to send out a threatening email. What I'm valuing from this case study is my administration that has my back. I have co-teachers that have my back. As a first-year teacher, I had a lot of people helping me out. I'm still a pretty new teacher. This is only my third year teaching, and I've had a lot of help throughout my years. I also value my experience as a teacher so far, that I have not had big conflicts with students or teachers or parents. Standard 5, the building level. Debrief, the issues that we still need to resolve. Will Ms. Walker change her approach to teaching? Will the student who is in charge of the email be properly disciplined, and will they learn from this mistake? What was the follow-up for those families that complained about Ms. Walker? And will Dr. Forbes support Ms. Walker in her teaching and go along with a improvement plan. Now on to Standard 5. The building level administrator is an educational leader who promotes the success of all students by acting with integrity, fairness, and ethical manner. How did you, as the building administrator, demonstrate a sense of integrity and ethical behavior that serves as a model for all members of the school community? With Standard PSEL 2, as an educational leader, I consistently promote ethical behaviors for all members of our school and am a role model for all. Not accusing Randy right away just because Ms. Walker thought it was him, but taking the time to figure out who did it. Yes, interviewing him, but not just assuming that it was him. Then referring to the district policies before disciplining the student. And lastly, helping Ms. Walker become the best teachers that she can be by giving her these resources and ideas instead of just firing her and letting her go after the situation. How did you, as the building level administrator, treat people fairly, equitably, and with dignity and respect? So again, Standard TL1F, promote trust, equity, fairness, and respect. First, not making assumptions about the students, not making assumptions about Ms. Walker, is treating them fairly, validating Ms. Walker's feelings, getting that trust in there as an administrator, teacher, understanding what she is going through as well as what the students are going through. So again, not jumping to conclusions, not assuming what is going on. And then also going to observe Ms. Walker instead of just listening to what the parents and the students are saying, but going and seeing it for myself. So going in and observing, making sure that I'm making fair assumptions. How did you, as the building level administrator, demonstrate a personal and professional code of ethics that inspires others to higher levels of performance? So Standard EI 1A, we act with integrity and fairness in supporting school policies and staff practices that ensure every student's academic and social success. So at Roosevelt High, they hold their students at a prestigious level. They hire, Dr. Forbes hires highly qualified teachers to help with student success. He wants those students to be successful. As a new teacher, helping Ms. Walker with her instructional delivery by giving her a professional improvement plan and multiple ideas will help with student success by having those, having those highly qualified teachers. And then being supportive of the students and the teachers. We want to challenge them. We want to give them the rigorous information in classes so that they can succeed academically, but we also want to make sure we're getting the information across with good instructional delivery.